In an old abandoned house, Woody and the Rock live together until something bad happens. Watch the entire story unfold in theaters in September.
Infinite Life found you?
In the lab, I managed to reverse aging. Here comes the role of Epigenetics.
Careful, should be we.
Hello, traveler. I am the Grand Master. Today, I will take you on a magnificent journey to discover your biological clock, the Circadian Clock.
Are you tired of CO2 pollution, the greenhouse effect, global warming, natural disasters, depleting fossil fuel resources? Well, have we got a wonderful product for you?
Welcome to the 5th annual premiere of the SciFilmIt Hackathon Lausanne films, and a special welcome to our live stream audience.
Bienvenue à tous et à toutes à cette 5e édition, cette 5e projection des films réalisés à SciFilmIt cette année. Et bienvenue également à nos spectateurs qui nous regardent en vidéo, en streaming.
All right, well, before we get started, we have to do the most important introduction. Your hosts. Thank you. I'm Joanna, and this is Johan.
Nous sommes vos hôtes pour ce soir, Johanna et moi-même, Johan.
All right, can we get some more applause? Thank you very much. All right, well, now that you've been introduced to the most important people tonight, something even more important than that is probably the question you have if you haven't heard of it before. What is SciFilmIt? Well, the SciFilmIt Hackathon itself is a process. It takes artists and scientists, puts them together, and takes them on a journey of decision-making, communication, problem-solving, storytelling, script writing, project planning, and quite obviously, filmmaking.
Si vous ne savez pas ce qu'est SciFilmIt, première question, qu'est-ce que vous faites là? Et qu'est-ce que c'est finalement que SciFilmIt? Eh bien, c'est faire se rencontrer des artistes, des réalisateurs de films, mais également des scientifiques, pour leur faire réaliser ensemble des films de communication scientifique. Un périple difficile où les uns vont devoir communiquer avec les autres.
It's a very challenging process. I was in it last year, and I can assure you that it is. And the people involved have had to balance scientific fact with entertaining story and build a bridge between science and art.
Les participants ont réussi à construire un pont entre les arts et les sciences, en étant aussi intéressant que possible pour vous, aussi divertissant que possible, mais également aussi scientifiquement précis. Et ça, c'est un vrai challenge.
So we believe that this process has a lot of value to everyone involved, and we hope tonight you are going to learn a lot of new information in a really enjoyable and entertaining way, so we hope you're excited.
Alors on espère que ce soir, les films que vous allez voir vont non seulement vous cultiver, mais aussi vous divertir.
Well, SciFilmIt itself, the organization, or the association more appropriately, is one that aims to bring accessible science to the world using story and film. And SciFilmIt Lausanne's goal is to take the science that's happening in the labs of Lausanne and bring it to the general public through film.
L'objectif de l'association SciFilmIt, c'est de raconter la science, d'écrire des histoires scientifiques et de les mettre à l'écran. C'est aussi de montrer au grand monde, au grand public, à vous, ce qu'il se passe dans les laboratoires de l'EPFL et du Nil, là-bas, sur le campus lointain.
So to do it, it's a really simple process, honestly. You take some scientists, you take some filmmakers, you put them together, you give them 3 days, you give them film equipment, you give them mentorship, you give them location, and food, and of course, tons of caffeine. And out come 6 incredible films that you're all going to be seeing tonight.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que la recette pour un SciFilmIt Hackathon réussi? Vous prenez des scientifiques, vous prenez des vidéastes, vous les mettez ensemble dans une salle pendant quelques jours, 3 exactement, et puis vous leur donnez des caméras, un petit peu de nourriture, beaucoup de café. Le résultat, vous allez le voir ce soir, ce sont 6 films de 4 minutes 30 au maximum qui seront projetés pour vous. Et nous avons, au cours de cet événement, eu l'opportunité de faire entrer une caméra espion, et donc vous allez vivre de l'intérieur ce qu'est réellement SciFilmIt. SciFilmIt, ce sont des conférences par des conférenciers invités, notamment sur l'éthique de la communication scientifique.
So now that we've started already, we're going to be taking a behind-the-scenes look at what happened on those 3 days. We had some really incredible speakers who gave us talks on topics like the ethics of science communication, as you can see behind me.
Un musicien est venu exprès d'Italie pour composer les bandes-sons que vous allez entendre ce soir.
Every film deserves an incredible soundtrack, and these films got nothing less. We invited a musician all the way from Italy to come and compose all the music that you're going to be hearing tonight.
Et puis pour ce qui est du décor, eh bien, les participants ont fait avec ce qu'ils avaient autour d'eux, à savoir qu'ils ont empilé quelques bibliothèques, semble-t-il, et puis de la dry ice.
And to achieve these films, now that they had mentorship and they had music, the teams used whatever they could find and borrowed whatever they needed, including dry ice.
J'aimerais également qu'on ait tous une petite pensée pour nos professeurs d'enfantine, parce que les compétences qu'ils nous ont apprises, à savoir le découpage, le collage, reconnaître les couleurs, former des triangles avec des ciseaux, nous ont beaucoup servi lors de cet événement.
One of the best things about this entire hackathon, and every participant will agree with me, it's that they finally got the chance to use all the skills they learned in kindergarten and did plenty of arts and crafts.
Et c'était 3 jours éreintants, sans pause, sans même un moment pour se reposer, n'est-ce pas, Joe?
Yeah, so it was a really intense 3 days, and some people, definitely not me, also needed to take some naps during the time.
Au cours de cet événement, on a réuni des participants, des organisateurs, il y avait les mentors et toutes les personnes, merci à toutes les personnes qui ont participé de près ou de loin à cet événement qu'on retrouve ici.
And thank you so much to all of the people seen here, the mentors, the participants, the organizers, the volunteers, all of them came together to make this incredible event possible.
Maintenant, ce soir, qu'est-ce qu'on fait là? Le planning de la soirée est le suivant. On va voir les films les uns après les autres, les 6 films. Après chacune des sessions, vous, public, vous aurez l'opportunité de poser vos questions à ceux qui ont réalisé ces films.
So, we now know what happened before, but what happens tonight? It's probably what you're more interested in. Well, we have a simple agenda for tonight. First, we're going to show you the films. After every film, there's going to be a chance for questions and answers. The microphones will pass down that corridor and this corridor, and you can get a chance to ask the team that will be on stage questions about their content and process. And those of you watching on the live stream, don't forget that you can put your questions in as well, and we'll ask them to the team.
En plus d'une formidable expérience, SciFilmIt, c'est aussi un concours. Et qui dit concours, dit prix. Ce soir, il y aura 2 prix remis. Le prix du jury, mais également le prix du public. Après le visionnage des 6 films, vous pourrez voter avec vos téléphones portables pour celui que vous aurez préféré. Suite à ça, on se retrouvera tous à l'extérieur, autour d'un verre, pour discuter.
Well, the audience participation doesn't just stop there. You also get a chance to decide who will be the winner of the audience prize tonight. At the end of seeing all the films, you'll have a chance to take your phones out and vote for the best film. And once that happens and prizes have been distributed, we're all going to head outside to the bar and get some drinks together to celebrate. But before that, I have a request to make. Please turn your phones on silence. I don't want to hear no vibration. I don't want to hear no ringing. It's going to make the experience way more enjoyable for you and the people around you. So go do everybody a favor and please check that your phones are on silent. Thank you.
Johanna a une particularité, c'est qu'elle est électrosensible et que dès qu'elle entend une sonnerie de téléphone portable, elle devient toute rouge. S'il vous plaît, pour le bon déroulé de l'événement, mettez-les sous silencieux. Merci.
And with that being said, let's go!
Hello, guys. So, who are you?
We are Team Ada.
Woo! And is there anything you'd like to say?
Bring your bottles and bring your smiles.
All right. See your film soon. Bye.
Once upon a time, there was an old abandoned house. Woody and the Rock are good friends and are holding everything together.
Hey Rock, let's build a new home together.
Great idea, Woody. But I hear the truck coming. We only have 1 hour left. Shh! This is getting way too complex. We really don't have time for this.
Oh no, what are we going to do now?
I've heard about someone called Ada. She's a wizard with lots of computing power.
Let's call Ada then.
Hello world, I'm Ada, the artificial intelligence agent. I solve problems through algorithms.
But what are algorithms?
Algorithms are clearly defined instructions that a computer can implement to solve problems. So, what do you want to do?
We want to build a better home with our friends, but we're all so different from each other.
Ada, look at what we did.
You have gone through a basic optimization. Based on your shapes and weights, you have tried different forms until you reached a stable structure. You see that if Woody moves to the right, you fall apart. But if he goes a little to the left, you have reached the optimal form.
But do we have to do this for everyone? This will take days.
That's what I'm here for. I have a program that computes the best way to get everyone into shape at the same time. Computer scientists call this physics-based simulation and numerical shape optimization. First, let's start from the beginning. We have to sort, recognize, and register everybody. We all take a step towards the best form.
Whoa, in only a fraction of a second! We are done!
No, Woody, you're not stable yet. We've only taken one step. It is not yet the perfect solution. Each step gives us more information, helping us to take the following step.
How many steps will we need?
Until you are stable.
But we don't have much time left.
Don't worry, it won't be long. Done! In this case, we needed 1,247 steps.
Thanks, Ada.
In a dome built entirely with reused materials, Woody and the Rock are now living happily ever after.
Un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour Ada.
Huge round of applause for Team Adam. Can Team Adam make their way up to the stage?
Rejoignez-nous sur la scène. Maintenant, c'est le
Don't be
moment.
shy, we don't bite.
C'est le moment pour vous de poser vos questions. Il y a des micros qui vont passer dans la salle, il y en a un ici, un autre juste là. Ne soyez pas timide, levez la main, et puis même si vous êtes en stream, vous pouvez poser votre question dans le chat et on nous la transmettra.
So the microphones will be passing around the hall. Please don't be afraid. Put your hands up and we'll pass the microphone to you if you have questions.
Alors, je vais commencer avec une question. Si vous deviez refaire cet événement, cette compétition, et si vous deviez refaire ce film, est-ce que vous y prendriez différemment? If you had to redo this movie, redo the process of making the movie, what would you change? Comment vous appelez?
So maybe we would try to make more pictures of each session. So basically, while we did the movie or the filming part, we didn't have much time, so we were just making photos, and the whole thing didn't start to work at the very beginning. And then we were quickly making photos. At the end, we put everything quickly together, and then we saw, oh well, if we would have made more pictures, maybe it would be more streamlined, smooth. Yeah.
And the other thing that we saw in the movie after it was produced was that the lighting wasn't so accurate, so we didn't have time to correct the lighting, so all the lighting that has been corrected in the movie is basically software. So that would be another room for improvement.
I guess also maybe what I would have done differently is first ask everyone about their other talents, because we were like kind of filmmakers and scientists, but we didn't realize that we also had an incredible artist who is Samara, who isn't here today because she's at a conference. She was our scientist in our group, and she did this incredible drawings in this film. And we realized this later on, so we were thinking of doing some live action and so on, and then we realized she had such a great talent. So I think that's something for everyone also to explore your other hidden talents, I would say.
Donc il changerait 3 points. Le premier, c'est dans un film en stop motion de faire plus de photos, de telle manière à avoir une animation plus fluide. La deuxième, c'est de faire attention à ce que la lumière soit toujours la même, parce qu'ils ont dû faire beaucoup de corrections par logiciel après. Et puis la troisième, c'est de demander à chacun ses talents, parce qu'il s'avère que Samara avait des talents de dessin qu'ils l'ont découvert que tardivement. Se présenter comme scientifique, mais les scientifiques peuvent également être des artistes. Est-ce qu'on a une question? Oui, juste ici.
Oh.
So, can you hear me? Yeah. So the final picture that you showed in the movie, where is it? Is it here in Canton Vaud, or where is it?
Alors je vais traduire pour commencer. L'image finale de la maison qu'on voit dans le film, d'où est-ce qu'elle vient?
It's an interesting question because actually the person who built the dome is here tonight, right there.
La personne qui a créé ce dôme est ici dans la salle.
And the dog in the picture is my dog. And yeah, so this is a dome built by Anko, which is Nicolas' business. And it's built in Belgium, which is where we are both from. And yeah, basically we are planning to build this dome again at ETH, which is where I am teaching and doing research, with reused materials, which is kind of the realization of what you saw here. through optimization. So yeah, so if you want to see it in real, come to ETH in the summer.
Donc ce dôme est en Belgique et puis votre start-up l'a créé, la start-up de Nicolas, pardon, a créé ce dôme et puis vous avez pour projet d'en faire un second à Zurich. En fait, tu peux traduire toi-même.
Oui, en fait, je parle français, hein, donc je peux le dire en deux langues.
Et puis on avait une question devant. Ah.
You can ask Nicolas if you want to order one here in Switzerland.
Dernière question.
Hey, great film. I saw the wolf was being driven around in a truck, and I was wondering if the truck was signifying something.
Quelle est la valeur symbolique du camion qui emporte le loup?
The time essence of the movie, so we were just signifying some urgency in the situation. So it just came and passed, but we had less time to do everything that the AI had to pitch in.
Le camion va vite et donc ça symbolise l'urgence pressante de reconstruire le dôme avant qu'il ne revienne souffler sur la prochaine maison.
Notice how we listened well to the lectures, huh? Because this was one of the things that you taught us. And it's also right, the hero story. But I think it also symbolizes in real life when we are on a demolition site, when we reuse buildings, often there's a time issue. We need to take away the old materials quickly because time is money on construction sites. So that's why we need computer optimization.
Vous avez besoin de la computer optimization pour faire face au grand méchant loup qui va revenir. Vous avez besoin de la computer optimization pour utiliser des matériaux recyclés pour construire la forme optimale de maison qui permettra de résister dans le temps.
Well, folks, that was it from Team Anna. Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup, Team Anna. Encore une fois.
And without further ado, let's see the next film.
Hello.
Hi.
So, who are you guys?
Genetics made me do it.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to tell everybody?
No.
Do you want?
Outreach is cool, but it's tough.
What's our movie?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, it's gonna be awesome.
All right. See you guys soon. Bye.
I just can't wait to get back to normal.
Normal? But what normal are you referring to? Well, the word normal in English came from Latin by mathematicians in the 1840s, defining it as average of a distribution. But in medicine, scientists and doctors actually define what's abnormal about patients. Foucault has done much work in this respect. Whereas in philosophy, normal is seen as the most common, ordinary or regular thing. But how do you define normality?
I just really want to...
What people think of normal actually differs across both time and space and changes so fast. For example, women in ancient Egypt went to the market and sold goods, while men stayed at home and weaved. But in Greece, it was the opposite. Fashion, beauty, and family dynamics are among the most common aspects of life that have undergone many normal states to end up with what we consider normal on an individual and social level today. And I hate to break it to you, but this is still changing.
That's really nice, but...
I'm glad you asked. Bizarre things can also be argued to be normal. For instance, Durkheim claims that crime is a normal part of society, since all societies have it. Following this line of reasoning, many things can be considered normal. But is this universal, or is it just from a human-centered perspective? Do we really know how our normality influences the normalities of other life forms? Like, how should we interpret the decrease in the killing of hedgehogs in Poland when humans went into confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic? It's impressive how dynamic the definition of normal actually is.
Well, this wasn't normal. You can keep the books. I've got to go.
Bye.
Un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour les Bad Bitches!
The mic is theirs, and the other one will be going across the screen, across the room. So please ask your questions.
Vos bras vous démangent, un ici.
Hey, great movie. So I was wondering, why did you actually choose to be like the sitting position of the person, like explaining all the scientific background? I didn't understand why you didn't really see the chair, but it was the level not the same. So was there a choice, or what is the reason?
Comment est-ce que vous justifiez votre cadrage de la personne qui est assise, monsieur l'artiste?
Okay, so basically the idea was that it's kind of this crazy librarian who's like very much into his books and his whole literature, and he's super excited to have the opportunity to talk about his favorite subject, normality. And yeah, the girl who comes to actually just get a book is kind of confronted with this, and because the guy is like very much into his books and so on, he wanted to make him look like as if he's kind of like taken up by the books, or like the books are kind of hiding him in a way. So yeah, he's kind of lost in all this library.
Donc l'idée pour laquelle dans le cadrage on voit plein de livres autour de lui, c'est pour donner l'impression qu'il est sous une montagne de livres. Et c'est pour ça que le cadrage a été choisi dans cet angle. Est-ce qu'on a une autre question juste là? Ici.
Yeah, super beautiful video. I already repeated it several times. Even though I was not creating it, but I saw it, and after that I started using word normal much less than I used before. So I'm curious if it happened to you. Did you change your perspective on normal after making this film?
Donc après son visionnage du film, elle a commencé à utiliser le mot normal bien moins souvent. Est-ce que ça vous a fait la même chose?
Yeah, so I guess so. I think that I've become far more aware of it, and when people speak about what's normal or what reality is, I think that I'm far more aware of it. But yeah, otherwise my perspectives on normal have not changed so much. But I think I think where the idea kind of stemmed from, and I think people will probably relate to this, is that when the whole COVID pandemic hit, the newspapers and you would hear all over that there's a new normal. And so the idea kind of came as, well, what was normal initially and what now is new normal? So it's that it's always shifting and very dynamic. And so this is kind of where the idea came from. So I think everyone in this room has experienced this shift in normal in the last year.
Donc oui, avec cette expérience, elle est devenue beaucoup plus consciente de ce que ça veut dire le normal, elle l'utilise de manière plus appropriée. Et puis on a vu tous, chacun, chacune, les changements de ce qu'était la normalité avec la pandémie. Est-ce qu'on a d'autres questions?
Hi, thank you, great movie. I was wondering whether you could say a few words about the collaboration between the different scientists that you had in the team. Because this was a team where you had a lot of variation. You had biologists and a historian, if I'm not mistaken. Or how did you find working across the sciences?
Dans votre équipe, vous aviez des historiens, vous aviez aussi des biologistes. Comment est-ce qu'ils ont pu collaborer pour faire ce film?
Okay, so two of our team members are not here today. So one of them is Epigenetics, and he's a social scientist and historian. And another is Lisa, and she is involved in genetics. And then Robert's doing robotics, and I'm a microbiologist. And so we kind of had very many disciplines in this. And so the idea that we kind of went with is the idea of the social sciences, because this is not really represented. However, it's a very different way of thinking, and so coming from a biology perspective, it was something that I had struggled with, but we were here to learn new sciences and to learn new things, and so I think there was a bit of a lack of understanding for a while, but eventually we discussed it and we spoke about it as you should, and eventually got there.
Donc ils étaient 4 scientifiques. Do you want to translate?
Ah non, non.
Ils étaient 4 scientifiques de 4 domaines différents, et l'un des sciences sociales qui est un domaine sous-représenté, donc ils ont choisi de partir sur le sujet des sciences sociales. C'était pas très facile pour la compréhension, donc ça a pris du temps.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that yeah, it's a very different kind of approach that I personally found very interesting, because usually we are very focused on our own kind of sciences in a way, and this way we really got to experience a little bit of a different perspective. I think what you realize here in the movie is we're not so much explaining something specific, like how something works, but we're more posing a question and just trying to make people think about a certain subject from a different perspective. And I think that's also very interesting and something we wanted to explore with this movie.
C'était pour des scientifiques de sciences dures et expérimentales, où on montre des faits et des mécanismes un peu déroutants en première approche, de faire finalement une vidéo qui pose plus de questions qu'elle n'en résout. Et on nous indique que c'est la fin des questions. Désolé pour vos frustrations. Gardez-les pour le film suivant, même si elles ne sont plus pertinentes. Merci.
Hi.
Hi.
So who are you guys?
I'm Hannah. We are the team Yodi.
All right. And is there anything you'd like to say to the camera?
Yes. We are thinking about, we are very tired, we filmed all night. And we are dreaming about like staying young forever and being on form to make movies all night. And that's also what our film is about, like whether it's possible to stay young and what this means, like because you still acquire experience even when you stay like for 30 years, 25 years old. So what does it mean actually if we could make it longer, like to stay at a certain age?
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
About your struggle, tell me you should.
Well, let's talk about the molecular mechanisms behind aging. Imagine this yarn as our DNA. We can find this in every single cell of our body. Look at these 3 genes here. Genes are information codes, and their expression leads to production of proteins. These proteins can then, for example, be responsible for a specific trait like your eye color, blood group, or height. They are not always read and expressed. For proper functioning of a cell, the gene expression needs to be tightly controlled. Let's see how this works. Epigenetic regulators control tightening and loosening of these genes. Loose regions are expressed while tight regions are not. Interestingly, as we age, epigenetic regulators change, and a bigger portion of the DNA loosens up. This causes unwanted gene expression and disease.
For a long time I knew what this.
What is exciting, in the lab, using special forces, I managed to reverse the epigenetic state of aging. So here they go from old to young.
Infinite life found you?
Well, it's still too early. I can't do this in humans yet. It will require much research into dosage and side effects.
With infinite life, careful should be we.
Another round of applause for Team Yodi. It is Yodi on a journey to reverse aging. We have a special guest on stage.
Est-ce que vous avez des questions sur ce film? Ici. Alors prenez le micro vraiment très près de la bouche pour qu'on puisse vous entendre.
Thank you for the movie. My question to you, would any of you would actually want to be immortal? Would you like to live forever?
Est-ce que vous aimeriez être immortel?
Thanks for asking this question. We actually considered to do the movie a little bit more on the...
Garde le micro très proche, keep it back.
So thanks for this question. And we actually first considered to do the movie a little bit less on the biological science and more on the thoughts and questions people might have. But then we thought this is not really the exact topic of Nibra, whose science this was, so we didn't. But personally, I wouldn't want to be immortal, but I might want to live a little bit longer, yeah.
Alors, c'était pas c'est un sujet très intéressant, mais c'est pas l'approche qu'ils ont utilisée pour le film. C'est volontaire. Et elle n'aimerait pas être immortelle, mais elle aimerait bien vivre un peu plus longtemps.
You want also to hear my answer as well? Yeah, this is a very philosophical question, I guess. I don't know. I think we don't have this knowledge to be able to answer this question yet. I guess if you ask me this question maybe in like 50 years, if we are still around, then I'll tell you a more elaborate answer on this.
On n'a pas encore les connaissances nécessaires pour qu'ils puissent répondre à la question, mais dans 50 ans peut-être. Est-ce qu'on a d'autres questions? Tout au fond.
Yes, thank you very much from me as well. Could you perhaps say what was your team composition and how do you think the movie would have been different if you'd had a different composition in terms of people's professional backgrounds?
De quoi était composé, de qui plutôt était composée votre équipe et de quel background est-ce qu'il venait? Et puis est-ce que ça aurait pu être différent avec des gens d'autres backgrounds?
So in our team we are actually current and ex-PhD students, so all of us are scientists, 3 current PhDs, and Hannah, whom you saw in the trailer, she graduated and now she has a full-time job. In terms of background, we have Hannah is working in the social science, then Liam and Nibra, they are in biology, Mia more in the numerical modeling. And what would be different if we have a different background? I guess it was quite an easy topic to tackle because in the beginning we were thinking of trying to tackle another more social type of a topic of Hannah, but then we just realized that it's much more difficult to kind of to work on something which is like less biology. You know, because biology is so hot nowadays, and this is much easier to make elaborate movies on this and very visual. Whenever you want, that's why I admired the videos of a previous team, which was presenting on the normals. I was like, wow, this is really difficult to make an elaborate story on this. So I guess thanks to the fact that we had 2 biologists in our lab that we managed. in our lab, sorry, in our team, we managed to have a good, to have a deep dive into the biological topic.
Donc dans leur équipe, ils avaient 4 scientifiques finalement, qui étaient soit des PhD students, soit d'anciens PhD doctorants, soit d'anciens doctorants. Et ils auraient été intéressés de savoir comment avoir une approche plus philosophique de la question, plus sociale de la question, mais ça leur semble très compliqué et ils ont beaucoup d'admiration pour le film précédent pour avoir réussi à faire ça.
Hi, interesting movie. I just have a way simpler, light-hearted question. Did you make Yodi yourself, or?
Est-ce que vous avez fait la peluche vous-même?
Yes, actually I made Yodi of a pattern of the internet dough, and I already had him before we started the filming, because otherwise it would have not been enough 3 days.
La réponse est oui, elle l'a tricoté elle-même et elle l'a fini avant l'événement, sans quoi ça aurait pris beaucoup plus que 3 jours.
I have a question. So how much did it take to bribe your lab to let you use the space for filming?
Combien est-ce que ça vous a coûté pour soudoyer vos superviseurs pour qu'ils vous laissent utiliser le laboratoire pour le film?
Not that much. We actually filmed from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Vous filmez de 23h à 4h du matin, mesdames et messieurs.
And then continued every Sunday. I think our PI doesn't know.
Et leur professeur n'est pas au courant.
And we'd like to request that none of you tell him or her. Thank you so much.
Vous êtes maintenant sous clause de confidentialité. On a une question juste là.
I'm curious to know about the atmosphere at 4 a.m. How is it like?
Comment c'était à 2h du matin? Chill, l'ambiance?
It was quite relaxed. After 3, I would say it was already, the pressure is released. You don't want to fight. You just want, to do your routine, and you don't have any emotions. It's more robotized motions.
À partir d'une certaine heure, on ne devient plus que des robots sans émotion. Donc à partir de 2h du matin, ça allait.
Thank you so much to Team Yodi.
Merci beaucoup.
And now, on to our next film.
Hi! So who are you guys?
We're the Panda Bears. Panda Bears!
Is there anything you'd like to tell everybody else?
Work hard and support your teammates if you're working on film. Every teammate has a valuable asset that can really make something amazing with the movie. So yeah.
And we hope you like our movie.
Awesome! Looking forward to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Rook. Wake up, come on.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Yeah, sure you are. I know the night shift is hard, but come on. Why don't we play some games? That's gonna keep you awake. This map, don't you think it looks like a body? Look, you have the lungs, the forest, and the city is kind of like a brain. Let's check it out. Oh, who's that?
Hello, traveler. I am the Grand Master. Welcome to the City of the Brain. Today, I will take you on a magnificent journey to discover your biological clock, also called the Circadian Clock.
Circadian? What's that?
I would guess you are confused. Well, let me explain. Think of this world as a body. The Circadian Clock is there to help us function optimally in balance with our surroundings. For example, the way our body functions depends on whether it's light or dark outside. Remember the watchtower? That tower is your eye. Go there and talk to one of the watchmen. They'll explain the rest.
Hi, traveler. It's bright outside, so you can see it's quite busy around here. We watchmen have a lot of duties. Most of us run to the visual center to help make the images, But some of us go to the mysterious part of our brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, also known as the master clock. Head over there, some people might be excited to meet you.
Welcome to the master clock. This area is inhabited by its residents, the clock genes.
Well, hello there. I'm B-Mal. I'm one of the clock genes. We are the regulators of various processes in our cells, and we come in groups. We like to play a sort of tug of war. During the daylight, one group of us wins and it takes control. However, during the night, the second group takes over the control. Together, we form an everlasting loop. The master clock, using our loop, sets the biological time. Let me show you what I mean. Climb up the stairs. For example, when it's dark, our master clock will tell a part of our brain called the pineal gland to produce a hormone called melatonin. That tells us it's time to sleep. I hope it's more clear. Now get out! We have work to do.
Oh no! The jet lag monster has appeared! It's messing with our world. Our light-dark cycle has changed. The sun rises much later now. Our body is not used to this. We have to fight. Look at when your clock tells you to sleep and see when it's dark outside. You're completely out of sync. But don't worry. Your body has awesome powers and it only needs some time to readjust. Now that we know that the environment has changed, we will change your body clock along with it. And, day by day, the clock will shift until it's back in sync.
See, rookie? It's gonna get better.
Mesdames et messieurs, les Pandabears!
Ladies and gentlemen, come with the Pandabears with the Guardians of the Clock.
Je suis sûr que vous avez des tonnes de questions sur ce film. Oui, ici au fond. Dans le micro? Parce qu'on a des spectateurs en streaming aussi.
Well, actually, I'm just going to give you an example of really speaking into the microphone so that people online can hear.
Okay.
That's all.
I really enjoyed your film, and I was really impressed by all the different voices. I was curious to know how you came up with all of them. Did you do them yourself? Were they computer generated? How did that work?
Alors, j'étais très impressionné par toutes les voix différentes du film. Comment est-ce qu'elles ont été créées?
Yeah, well, so it was multiple of us. It was me, Julia, Robbie, and our actors. And but yeah, some of them we did modify. Julia knows the best to explain how, but in order to get those robotic voices, and so it was modified quite a bit. But yeah.
Alors, c'était plusieurs à faire les voix et certaines des voix étaient modifiées.
So technically, for some of the voices, we actually sped up. So that in turn kind of increased the pitch of the voiceovers. So meaning B-Mal is actually Robbie. So you can hear it's quite different.
Ils ont pu informatiquement changer le ton de la voix.
Sorry, I have a question. Yeah, how did you actually make that game? Did it exist? Did you did everything yourself?
La question que tout le monde se pose, comment vous avez fait ce film? Comment vous avez fait ce jeu vidéo?
Alors, j'ai juste utilisé le logiciel RPG Maker. Donc c'est un logiciel en ligne qu'on peut trouver facilement. Et puis C'est un logiciel qui est utilisé pour faire de vrais jeux. Donc il y a des jeux qui sont faits avec ce logiciel. Donc moi j'ai juste pris le logiciel. Heureusement il est très intuitif. Donc j'ai juste pris ce logiciel et puis j'ai tâtonné un peu et puis j'ai fait les quelques images que vous avez pu voir.
So she used an intuitive software called Epigenetics to create the game, basically.
I'd just like to add that technically makes her the second filmmaker here as well, because basically she not only kind of built the world, created it, but also kind of filmed it as well, you know, like screen recorded it. So yeah, so honestly it was really amazing. So.
Mélanie est vidéaste à part entière parce que non seulement elle a fait une vidéo, mais elle a aussi enregistré en fait le capture d'écran.
I was going to ask the same questions. Super cool.
Is there another question in the audience? Behind.
Hi, so could you describe your circadian cycle during the filming of the movie?
I didn't have a question.
Okay, so the question was, can you describe your circadian rhythm during the filmmaking process?
Yeah, well, too much caffeine did mess it up a bit, and not sleep, especially the people who filmed the whole night, so it did mess up, but it got back in shift, so.
Donc la situation du film qui présente avec le monstre de jet lag est arrivée réellement pendant le tournage, étant donné qu'ils ont beaucoup travaillé la nuit. Une question au troisième rang.
Am I speaking loudly enough into the microphone? Great movie. I actually have just a question about the actual biological information. So, yeah, you had the jet lag monster, which hilarious. I was crying laughing if anyone heard me. And I was just wondering because we're hearing a lot right now about like chronotypes. So like if you're like a morning person or a night owl or whatever. And how does that work in terms of if you are supposed to self-regulate? Like how do the chronotypes kind of come in?
On entend de plus en plus parler de chronotype. Alors qu'est-ce que c'est qu'un chronotype? Si ça se traduit comme ça, j'en ai aucune idée.
Yeah, well, I can refer to the second movie that talked about normal. So, like in biology, we also don't have normal, so we have a distribution. So, like, but in order for yourself to determine which chronotype you are, I think it's. I mean, you know if you're a morning person or not, but I think it's really hard to really put it in categories, and yeah, I don't have a simple answer for that.
C'est très difficile de mettre des gens dans des catégories, mais il y a des gens qui se disent du matin, des gens qui se disent du soir, selon leur cycle de sommeil. Mais c'est difficile de donner une réponse précise.
So we saw the jet lag monster. What other kinds of bosses would exist in this Guardians of the Clock?
On a vu le monstre du jet lag. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres créatures terribles pour le sommeil?
So the reason we use the night guards is the night shift. It's a common problem because it completely messes up your clock and then your metabolism, etc. But also like if you're eating late at night, if you're drinking coffee late at night. So yeah, a lot of stuff j'y suis en dessous. So.
Donc il y a d'autres choses qui peuvent gravement affecter votre sommeil, à part le fait que vous travaillez de nuit. De temps en temps, c'est prendre du café la nuit ou de manger la nuit, par exemple.
And can you just quickly explain why sometimes we get super tired, like around, I don't know, 8 or 9, and if we fight against it, 1 hour after we cannot go to sleep anymore? It's just impossible.
Pourquoi est-ce que des fois on est fatigué à 8h du soir et puis si on va pas se coucher, 2 heures plus tard, ça va très bien?
I guess you just get a lot, you're just tired by the end. But there is not a simple answer, I mean.
Y a pas de réponse simple.
It's not that simple, I mean, yeah. Maybe you're just a early night sleeper. I don't know.
On finit par être fatigué de toute façon. Peut-être qu'il faut aller se coucher tôt.
Sorry.
Merci beaucoup pour ces questions et nous passons maintenant au prochain film. Encore un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour les Cambadiers.
Hello, guys. Hello. So who are you guys? Is there anything you'd like to say?
So
All right, can't wait to see your film. Bye!
The pink color of flamingos comes from their shrimp diet and...
Are you tired of CO2 pollution, the greenhouse effect, global warming, natural disasters, depleting fossil fuel resources? Well, have we got a wonderful product for you. Unlike the burning of fossil fuels, which as we all know makes that problematic CO2, there is a far better fuel alternative: hydrogen. And the best part is, all the ingredients are right here, abundant and free. Don't believe me? Well, let's see if a visit to our resident scientist can change your mind.
Hydrogen molecule is a great fuel. It contains a lot of energy, and when consumed, it doesn't produce that annoying CO2.
And the amazing thing is that we can easily make our own hydrogen.
Hydrogen can be produced by breaking down water. If we take 2 water molecules, we can rearrange the elements in order to obtain 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen molecule. But this takes energy. This process is called water splitting.
We could produce huge amounts of hydrogen.
Using hydrogen as a fuel gives energy to power your house and car, and it only produces water as a side product. You see, it is a closed loop.
And no more CO2 production. Now, you might be asking yourself, where do we get the energy to make hydrogen from water splitting? Well, one way is to use electricity. But what if I told you that we have a huge amount of freely available energy reaching the Earth every single moment? That's right, solar energy. And we can exploit it. Is that right?
Yes, solar energy can also be exploited to produce hydrogen from water.
But wait, when you go to a lake or a swimming pool and you lay in the sun, you don't see bubbles of hydrogen and oxygen forming in the water. Can the scientists tell us why?
Because you're missing one critical ingredient, a photocatalyst. To make solar water splitting possible, we need what is called a photocatalyst. It absorbs water on its surface, putting the molecules closer than they normally would.
Like beer bringing people together at a party. A social catalyst.
Exactly. The photocatalyst also transfers the energy from the sun to the water molecules, allowing the water splitting reaction to occur.
And this amazing photocatalyst, like beer, comes in different forms, with or without co-catalysts, in sheet or particulate form, semiconductors, organic-based materials, and composite materials. Call the number to get personalized advice on the perfect catalyst to make hydrogen, the perfect renewable energy-based fuel. No CO2 production, carbon-free 100% guaranteed. Warning, the molecules presented in this film are not representative of molecules found in real life. For example, the size of a water molecule is around a few angstroms, or 1/1000th of a meter, and the smallest molecule, the diatomic hydrogen, has a bond length of 0.74 angstroms. Color might differ from illustration. Water, oxygen, and hydrogen appear colorless at room temperature. Appear colorless at room temperature.
Les names aside!
That was Team Names Aside! And while they come up on stage, I would like to tell you about something that I am deeply saddened by, the fact that you can't read the subtitles. I don't know if you could read it, but I was sitting there and I couldn't. And when I was watching the film in person, I was laughing so hard. Those are quality subtitles, y'all. Watch the film again, watch those subtitles.
Malheureusement, vous n'avez pas pu, vous avez manqué une partie du film parce que les sous-titres étaient coupés juste en dessous la petite bande noire déroulante. Mais regardez-le quand vous êtes chez vous et vous verrez bien. Et question pour les names aside des promoteurs. redoutable. Ici.
So I was wondering about the boxes. Like, did you have them as the real boxes?
D'où viennent ces boîtes que vous aviez derrière?
Yes, so the best question will get one box as a present. Okay, I have some at home, but yeah, I think we spend a lot of time on putting them on yeah.
So remember keeping the microphone close to mouth.
Okay,
Otherwise
good.
one will get angry.
Thank you, Robin.
Donc oui, elle a plein de boîtes chez elle et la meilleure question ce soir obtiendra l'une de ces boîtes. Another question? Oui.
Hi, thank you very much for the film. So if I want to buy a catalyst, which type would you recommend actually?
Si elle veut acheter un catalyseur d'hydrolyse, quel type il faudrait qu'elle prenne?
Great question. So this is more or less the point of my entire research. Yeah. So if you have a couple of hours, I can...
Alors, excellente question, c'est là-dessus qu'elle fait sa thèse. C'est ça. Donc ça lui prendrait quelques heures pour expliquer ça.
Yeah, so the whole point is that the renewable energy is quite a wide area of research, and there is not only one answer, but this is only one of the many possibilities that are being explored nowadays in research to exploit solar energy and renewable energies broadly. So yeah.
Donc le champ des énergies renouvelables, c'est un domaine très vaste et il n'y a pas une seule manière de faire l'hydrolyse. Je ne sais pas si j'ai tout su, j'étais déconcentré. Est-ce qu'on a d'autres questions? N'hésitez pas en live sur YouTube, Facebook ou je ne sais quoi à poser vos questions dans le chat, on nous les transmettra.
Hi. So catalysts like this would potentially be bought by anyone who uses energy.
Donc n'importe qui pourrait acheter un de ces catalyseurs.
The metaphor of the fireman was kind of our narrative. The reality is more complex. So there are some technologies that are already ready to buy, like for example photovoltaics. So you could actually just go and buy your own photovoltaic panel or whatever. But nowadays, this technology we explained on the video, which is solar water splitting, is not yet at that level of technology readiness. So it will take some more years, but there is a lot of investment from governments and universities, research groups, in order to make this possible for everyday life.
Faut pas croire tout ce qu'on voit dans les films. Le catalyseur que vous voyez à l'écran, il n'est pas encore accessible au grand public, comme le sont d'autres énergies renouvelables, comme le solaire par exemple. Mais étant donné les investissements des universités et des gouvernements, peut-être que ça le sera dans quelques années.
How expensive would that be?
Combien ça coûterait?
Well, so the point is, so much of the research focuses on the possibility of materials to be efficient without having precious elements inside. So like for example, you may know that batteries, they have some elements that can be quite difficult to obtain. And we face the same problem with this kind of solar energy conversion materials. But much of the research is focusing on producing material with abundant elements. So hopefully they will be cheap and very like energy friendly, let's say, sustainable. Thank you. Sustainable.
Donc le problème, c'est qu'il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui sont chers dans dans ses composants, comme dans les batteries par exemple. Et donc il y a beaucoup de recherches qui est faite pour faire des catalyseurs comme celui-ci, avec des ressources qui sont très largement disponibles et renouvelables.
We have a question from YouTube. Dimitri asks, when will he be able to buy a car that runs on solar energy and water?
Yes, so this I can answer.
And a follow-up question to that, would he be able to drive that car at night?
Absolutely.
Je traduis la question, I'm translating the question. Quand est-ce qu'on pourra acheter une voiture qui fonctionne à l'hydrolyse, donc peut-être avec un panneau solaire et de l'eau, et puis est-ce que ça pourra fonctionner la nuit?
So, there is a car that is sold nowadays, like you can buy it. It's called Toyota Mirai, so no sponsoring, but and it is a car that runs on hydrogen, and the idea is to produce the hydrogen separately, like on a different site, to store the energy in the hydrogen and then simply put the hydrogen in the car as you would do with any other fuel.
Il y a déjà une voiture de chez Toyota qui est disponible et qui utilise de l'hydrogène comme énergie. Mais cet hydrogène, il n'est pas produit par catalyse dans la voiture, mais sur un site différent. C'est seulement l'hydrogène dont on remplit la voiture.
So in fact, I would like to specify that the whole point of hydrogen is to store the solar energy. So it's like we produce the hydrogen as a way of storing the energy that comes from the sun.
L'hydrogène, c'est juste un moyen de stocker l'énergie qui vient du soleil. Mesdames et messieurs, c'était la dernière question. Thank you very much for all the questions.
I would recommend that you stay afterwards, get drinks, maybe talk to them later so you can be sure to be one of the first that buy stocks in this up-and-coming catalyst. And with that, our next film.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello. So who are you?
So we are the Latino acids,
All right.
and be sure to eat your proteins.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I really don't know how to explain it better. It seems so simple to me, and yet I cannot help my students to understand it. So, our enzymes cleave proteins into amino acids. How can I say that? Our enzymes split? Our enzymes cut? Of course! Proteins have complex and different shapes, a bit like balls of yarn. When a protein-rich meal gets to the stomach, proteins will start to unfold due to hydrochloric acid. This results in proteins losing their 3D structure or just unraveling. This allows the enzymes to act as biological scissors, dividing the proteins. Otherwise, it would be like trying to cut yarn while still a ball. We need to do many cuts to be able to separate the basic unit composing proteins, the amino acid. Every natural protein, like the ones we find in food, is made from these simple units, 21 to be precise. Once separated, the single amino acids will be recombined in our body to become new, different proteins, like keratin. I guess I'm finally on the right track here.
Latino acids.
Latino acids, ladies and gentlemen. Or Latino acid.
Deux latino acids.
Yeah, I did all on my own.
Il l'a fait tout seul.
I'm joking. I would like to thank you also, Luz, and I mean for. Okay. Yeah. So I would like to thank you also, Luz and Ricardo, for participating to that. They couldn't make it today, but they did a good job and an amazing job actually.
Luz et Ricardo ne sont pas là ce soir, mais ils ont fait un travail formidable. Est-ce que vous avez des questions? Oui, ici. Juste là.
Amazing movie, amazing, beautiful picture, sound, it all plays together so beautifully, excellent. A technical question, I see that you also use there was like some powder and some shots are very like macro shots, so from technical point of view, did you film everything by yourself or you use some stock available videos?
Donc il y a des formidables images dans ce film. Est-ce que vous les avez toutes réalisées vous-même ou est-ce que vous en avez piqué sur Internet?
So, Ricardo was actually the filmmaker. So, but in any case, I mean, I participated to that, and I could actually see that, for example, the macro shots were shot by a telephone, a normal telephone. So I don't remember the brand. So, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, the macro shots were all shot with a telephone. Actually, the hair were our hair, my hair. I hope they were good. And speaking about, for example, the powder effect and so on, I believe there was no effect added. It was just dust that was in the room because we were using lights. So, I mean, it was maybe the room, it wasn't super clean.
Non, donc ils ont tout fait eux-mêmes et puis certains gros plans ont été réalisés juste au téléphone portable en fait. Puis pour la jolie chevelure, si j'ai bien compris, c'est juste l'effet de la lumière qui venait de la fenêtre. Une nouvelle question.
Yeah, really nice movie. So I was wondering, like the first group mentioned this with the lightning, that they would, when they would redo the movie, they would change that. That was. Did you also then refine the lightning with the software, or that was not so much an issue?
Est-ce que la lumière, vous l'avez corrigée avec un logiciel ou est-ce que vous avez utilisé la lumière comme ça, comme elle était?
So, honestly, I don't know. Ricardo, if you are here, maybe you can answer on YouTube.
Ricardo, si tu regardes le streaming YouTube, s'il te plaît, à l'aide. On a une question tout au fond.
Hey, another question from YouTube. How did you get the idea of the cotton thread to explain the process of splitting the proteins?
Comment vous est venue l'idée de la pelote de laine pour expliquer le fait de couper les protéines?
So, actually this was the way in which I tried to explain to Luz and Ricardo how digestion worked. So it was really, really highlights what's the strength of this, I think, hackathon. That is exactly to try to explain to people that are not in your field something that could be really complicated. But if you manage to explain it in a simple way, that means that you are able to effectively communicate it to other people. So basically, we took the idea as I was just explaining to them how protein digestion worked, and it's actually amazing. It amazed me that the first day they were struggling a bit into understanding amino acids, proteins, and so on, and in the last day they were speaking about it like they were experts. So the point is that me, either on the other side, I knew nothing about video making and so on, how to tell a story and so on. And in the last day, I was even proposing some of the ideas, and they were actually accepting that. So it was really cool to see this collaboration.
Eh bien, en fait, dès le début, c'est la manière dont lui, il a expliqué la manière de liser les aminoacides avec cette métaphore de la pelote de laine, et puis ils l'ont mis en image. Au début, ceux avec lesquels il travaillait n'avaient aucune idée de ce que c'était des aminoacides, mais après 3 jours, c'était devenu des experts, et lui est devenu un expert en vidéo. Tu as une question? Est-ce On a une autre question dans la salle. Do you have another question? Anyone?
So I love food, and and I just had a question about the actual digestion. So is there things that, are there things that you would recommend that we don't eat just because it's difficult to digest or the proteins can't come out? Or sort of based on that, what would be best that we eat so we can get the most nutrients out of it?
Est-ce qu'il y a des nourritures qu'on ne devrait pas manger, des aliments qu'on ne devrait pas manger parce que c'était trop difficile pour nos enzymes de les digérer?
Well, it really depends on the people and how old you are and so on. But me, for example, I cannot eat a lot of bell peppers, like a lot of people maybe. But yeah, it really depends.
Ça dépend des gens. Il y a des gens qui peuvent digérer des choses, d'autres pas. Mesdames et messieurs, merci beaucoup au Latino Acids.
Thank you so much for Latino Acids.
C'était Young Science, le 6e et dernier film réalisé au cours de cette compétition. Merci.
And that was the last film that was created during this hackathon. They were all absolutely incredible, and we're so glad that you could enjoy this with us.
Maintenant, on passe à une partie importante, la partie à laquelle vous participez, la partie où vous dégainez vos téléphones portables pour aller voter sur Internet.
Now, the chance you've been waiting for. Get your phones out and vote for your favorite film.
Pour voter pour votre film favori, vous pouvez aller sur ce lien www.slit.do et entrer le code qui s'affiche en bas, ou bien simplement flasher le QR code, on va s'écarter un petit peu.
To do this, you've got two options. One, head to www.slide.do and enter the code 898088. Or if you're lazy, like I would be, just scan the QR code. And while we are waiting for that, Johan is going to entertain us with his first ever rendition of a tap dance with our favorite guest standing behind the speaker.
Mesdames et messieurs, ceci est tout à fait prévu. Et maintenant, un chant en yodel, proposé par Joe.
Well, I just really need to warm up real quick and just look up the lyrics. I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. electronic sensitivity.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici le moment de ranger vos téléphones portables, de fermer Tinder.
If you haven't finished voting, it's your last chance now. Get those votes in, folks. And we will count them shortly.
Avant de révéler les résultats du vote, nous allons faire un petit tour de remerciements et tout d'abord à nos sponsors, sans qui rien de tout ça n'aurait été possible. Je pense qu'il a envie de s'exprimer. Laissez ce garçon s'exprimer. Merci à l'UNIL, merci à...
Just before we get started, when we're going to be doing the thanking, I would love to hear a big cheer from the audience, all right? Or we do it again, and everyone does also want to go get a beer, so...
Quiconque n'applaudit pas, on refera un applaudissement jusqu'à ce qu'il participe. J'ai compris.
Merci beaucoup.
Pas de pression. Merci à nos sponsors, donc à l'UNIL, à l'EPFL, à l'Université de Genève et à Nikon qui donnent les prix ce soir.
A very big thank you to our sponsors who helped us in so many different ways, and another thank you to Cuso, Epigenetics, and the Catalyst. Either interested in science or you're interested in seeing it communicated interestingly. Just a little bit about the Catalyst before we move on. The Catalyst is a community for science communication. They do really incredible things and they're here in Lausanne. And if you want to get involved, please come and talk to me afterwards and we can get you sorted on that or just give you more information.
Les Catalystes est une association de communication scientifique. Si vous voulez en savoir plus, n'hésitez pas à venir les voir. Il y en a pas mal dans la salle ce soir, je crois. Merci aussi beaucoup aux mentors, parce que un padawan n'est rien sans son maître Jedi, et Yoda n'était pas le seul ce soir. On a eu beaucoup de personnes expérimentées au cours de l'événement qui ont partagé leurs compétences en sciences, en réalisation et aussi en communication scientifique. Ces personnes, ce sont Sarah, Alexandre et Séverine.
And Liam, 3 out of 6 mentors who guided the teams with expertise in filmmaking, in science communication, and science. And their presence was absolutely tantamount to the success of this event, and we're so grateful that they were there. Another thank you to them. Well, folks, it's the time you've all been waiting for. So we actually have 2 prizes. We've got 1 prize, which is... Oh, Martino! Sorry. Whoops. I think we missed one.
Également beaucoup d'applaudissements pour le musicien qui est venu tout droit d'Italie pour composer les incroyables bandes-sons que vous avez entendues ce soir. Martino! Il n'était pas tout seul, il a été accompagné de Stéphania. Il nous manque plein de fiches.
And another very big thank you to the team that made it possible, one of my favorite teams to work in this year, the organizers!
Applaudissements pour les organisateurs du SciFilmIt Lausanne!
Again. So we've got 2 prizes that we're going to be giving out today. One prize is a jury prize. We had a select committee of judges come together and choose the prize choose the film that they thought communicated science most effectively, clearly, and entertainingly.
Le premier des 2 prix remis ce soir, c'est le prix du jury. Un jury s'est réuni pour sélectionner le film qu'ils ont trouvé non seulement le plus divertissant, mais aussi celui qui leur a plus appris de choses de la manière la plus claire possible.
And without further ado, I would like to have a drum roll, please.
Mesdames et messieurs, le prix du jury.
And the winning team for the jury prize is Congratulations, you guys. Y'all can stand here.
Félicitations. Et de la part de Nikon qui sponsorise cet événement, vous recevez chacun une caméra Coolpix A1000.
And a big thank you to Nikon. Who is Coolpix A1000. Samara as well, but all right. Well, thank you again to Team Ada for their amazing film, Woody and the Rock.
Bravo encore à Nicolas pour Woody and the Rock. Maintenant vient le temps du second prix, celui que vous avez décidé.
Well, folks, you voted, you've cast your votes, and the prize has been decided. All right, drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Le prix
Audience prize.
du public de l'édition 2021 du SciFilmIt Hackathon revient à la team Pandamirs pour Guardians of the Clock. On peut dire que c'est une surprise qu'elle a littéralement sauté sur son siège.
Congratulations, you guys. Very well deserved.
Bravo, très mérité. Encore des applaudissements pour la team Panda Beers. Vous avez découvert ce soir des films de vulgarisation, de communication scientifique. Vous découvrez que vous adorez ça, vous ne pouvez pas vous en passer. Alors que faire? Eh bien, il y a le 10 octobre, à 15h, à Genève, la projection des films qui seront réalisés au cours du SciFilmIt Hackathon Genève, dès vendredi. Le 10 octobre, à 15h, notez-le dans vos agendas électroniques.
Well, folks, I know you're probably eager to see more science films and are absolutely devastated this is already the end of the show. Well, you're lucky because if you head to Geneva on the 10th of October at 3 p.m., you're going to get to watch all the Geneva SciFilmIt Hackathon films in a cinema as well. And P.S. Johan's going to be there. He's making a film.
Vous pouvez nous retrouver sur les réseaux sociaux avec SciFilmIt, donc sur Facebook, sur Instagram, sur Twitter peut-être, surtout.
Well, folks, unfortunately, that is the event of the SciFilmIt. That is the end of the event for the SciFilmIt Lausanne Hackathon premiere. But don't fear, you can still find us on social media at SciFilmIt everywhere where people can be found. And if you have questions as well, please come to us afterwards and just talk to us. We'd be more than happy to let you know anything you might need to know or how you can get involved. And I promise, we don't bite.
Si vous avez des questions, si cet événement vous intéresse, que vous voulez participer l'an prochain, si vous voulez organiser cet événement, ce qui est encore mieux, eh bien, n'hésitez pas à venir en parler aux organisateurs à la fin de la soirée. La fin de la soirée, c'est maintenant, d'ailleurs. Et on vous invite à nous retrouver et à retrouver toutes les équipes qui vont partager leurs expériences juste à la sortie. Il y a un bar, il y a des verres, il y a de quoi boire, il reste du popcorn, je crois. Donc, faites-vous plaisir.
Thank you so much to all of you who came here and made this premiere such a memorable one. It was a great night, and now let's head outside, let's grab some drinks, go talk to somebody new, go talk to the team here, and let's celebrate together. And with that,
Lausanne. Cet effet est très préparé, donc on tient à le faire correctement, s'il vous plaît. Attendez.